so beautiful to be together. And what he concluded with is actually one of the deepest and most important truths. It's a take-home. You know, sometimes people say, well, what's the takeaway? This is the takeaway. The love of God, name of God, no name, form, no form. However you connect to the divine, that is the answer to every single thing that ails you. Everything that ails you, this is the solution. On deep personal levels, on planetary levels. If you look at our individual suffering, depression, anxiety, loneliness, here we are, gathered in love, in unity, coming together, remembering the divine, connecting with the divine. It's going to flow in some of your hearts as Ram, as Krishna, because that's the world that you come from or the world that you identify with. And it's going to flow for some of you as just the presence of the Supreme Reality. Maybe it flows for you as your grandmother or as the tree in your backyard. Or as the infinite stars in the night sky. Or as your full heart. It's all that presence of the divine. And it is that eases every single thing that we suffer from. There's no place for depression. There's no place for anxiety. There's no place for loneliness. Because it gives us the source of joy. It gives us the source of peace. It gives us the source of meaning. It gives us the source of unity and community. Right? We come here in community to come into unity. Unity with each other, unity with ourselves, unity with the divine. I recently was on a tour for my new book that's just come out, Come Home to Yourself. And on the tour, I had a lot of different varieties of speaking platforms and groups and communities. And one of them was a good friend of mine runs a very large platform for women in business. Getting women to start businesses, to run businesses, to expand businesses, to feel empowered in business. And they happened to be having a big retreat in the city that I was passing through. And she said, would you come and just give a beautiful message to these women? I said, sure. So it was a 3 or 4 day retreat that women had paid $10,000 to attend in order to learn how to make more money. That wasn't even the punchline, actually. That was, as we say, bhumika banane. That's the foundation. And when I came in, of course, it was a retreat, so it was running morning till evening for all of these days, and I was just, speaking in a particular slot. And I came in, and they were just finishing the session before my talk. And she was saying to them, okay, you have 4 minutes. And in 4 minutes, you've got paper and pen in front of you. I want you to write down all of what you would buy. You have access to infinite wealth. All of the wealth of the universe is yours. There is no lack, no scarcity, no nothing. It is all with you. What would you buy? For 4 minutes, just make lists. And then they, after the 4 minutes, they shared their lists. And so, the microphone went around and whoever wanted to share, shared. And I listened, and it was so interesting because I do speak with some relative frequency in corporate environments, but this was not corporate. This was really how do we build bigger businesses, individual businesses, make more money? And as I listened to them share what they would spend their infinite resources on, it was so interesting. And when I finally got to the stage, I said, here you are, spending time, spending money, spending energy to learn how to build bigger businesses, to make more money. But what are you dreaming of? Running away. Because what were the things they were going to spend money on? Private boats, private airplanes, very expensive, great quality motor bikes to go off into the mountains. A private chef, a private masseuse waiting at home for when you get home from all of the stress that you've incurred, making all the money. Now you've got a massage person on standby. God forbid you should have to cook. Somebody will cook for you. They'll massage you because making money is so stressful. And so you better put in place these things. And I was so interested because for so many people, the goal is bigger, more. And I don't have any judgment around that. It's, whatever everybody's individual karmic journey is, we're here to live it. But what interested me so deeply from a psychological and spiritual standpoint was the very same people who were dedicating their lives to building businesses. Actually, once they got all of the money they were dreaming of making, were planning to use it to run away from all of that which they had built. Get me into the middle of the ocean. Get me on a plane far from here. I don't even want to deal with other people on the airplane. A private plane. Get me out of here. Trips to Paris with the family. Connection. Freedom. Connection. Ease. That's the masseuse and the private chef. And right? What are we really looking for? We're looking for freedom. We're looking for ease. And we're looking for connection. And again, this was not I told them what to want. I hadn't even spoken yet. I hadn't opened my mouth. This was them dreaming and visualizing what they were going to use all of the world's resources for. And I mention this because as we move through our lives on our own karmic journeys and we long for things, we need to shift from longing to belonging. There's so much longing. And yet, what are we longing for? We think it's the prestige, it's the money, it's the power, it's the prosperity. But actually, it's the freedom and it's the connection and it's the ease. So in mathematics, they say the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And so rather than run around in circles, hindi we say pura chakkar laga ke, rather than being in circles to get what we want, we go in a straight line. That spiritual connection, that love, that truth It gives us the experience of belonging, but not a belonging that we have to buy, not a belonging because I wear the right clothes so you like me. I go to the right parties so I'm able to be friends with the right people, or I have a house in the right area of town so I am worthy of. Belonging, no. A sense of belonging to yourself and to the divine. And that's it. When we love God, we belong to God. When we love God, we belong to ourselves. And that's the key. Then there is no more longing, because then there is such a powerful belonging that you're full. You're full. Things come, they don't, they don't. But you're full already with that divine connection. There is no depression, there is no loneliness, there is no anxiety, because everything's in God's hands. I'm being carried. There's a beautiful story of a little boy who was on a boat. And the boat started to capsize, and everybody panicked, and they started to get out the lifeboats and the life rafts and life vests and everything. And the little boy is sitting there very calmly, and somebody says to him, like, aren't you worried? You're going to die. This boat is going down. What are you so calm about? And he says, oh, my mom is over there. Mom is here. Everything will be okay. That feeling of love for the divine, I'm in God's hands. God's taking care of the show. I don't need to micromanage this moment. Because that's the stress. The stress is what I want, when I want it, how I want it won't happen. Next time you're stressed, ask yourself, really, like, what is the source of my stress? What I want, how I want it, when I want it, isn't happening. Or isn't going to happen in the future. Either present moment or past or future moment. We're tense everywhere, present tense, future tense, it's always tense. But if we recognize that we're in God's hands, that we're connected to God in love, then we get that calmness, that peace of the child. And that love is the answer. It brings us back to ourselves. There's a...
I came prepared.
Thank you. It's what you get when you sing too much before you have to speak. There's a very famous, very traditional story in Vedanta of 10 students who are crossing a river by boat. They get to the other side, and they want to make sure everybody's here, so one of them counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've lost some. Oh my God, where's the 10th person? And so somebody else says, no, they must all be here. And he says, I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now they're properly panicking. We had 10 when we set off. Now we only have 9. Did somebody drown? And each of them counts. And each of them comes up with 9. And they're totally panicked. They're about to, go back into the river and swim and try to find the surely drowned 10th guy. And another passerby walks by and he says, what's wrong? You all seem very upset. This is what we lost. We lost our brother. Our 10th brother has drowned and disappeared. We started off as 10, now we're only 9. And the passerby counts them, and of course they're 10. So, but how is that possible? The passerby says, well, of course, each of you who was counting, you weren't counting yourself. Each of you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nobody said 10. When we forget ourself, and that's the moral, we forget ourself, we suffer. We panic. The root of suffering is the forgetfulness of ourself. But it's not just ourself as in a group of 10, my body in the boat. It's the very truth of who I am, who is one with the divine. And what that means is all the love that I'm singing for God. I'm not separate from that. And this is huge. Some of you know my story, and I won't go into all of it or even a lot of it here, but when I first went to Rishikesh, at 25, went to India with a backpack on what I thought was just going to be an adventure trip. Not consciously seeking, not consciously searching. Wish I had been, but I wasn't. And I get to the banks of Ganga, this river I didn't even know was sacred. And I had this extraordinary experience of being in the presence of the divine that was everywhere. Began as I looked out over the river, but then it was everywhere. It didn't matter. And it knocked me to the ground in tears. And when I looked within, because it began as just everything is God. Oh my God, oh my God. And that was all I could say for many, many, many days was just, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. But when I turned that vision inward, it was inside as well. There was no distinction. And for someone who had grown up in the midst of wonderful blessings, wonderful opportunity, wonderful prosperity, kind of the best of the best. And yet, I had suffered extraordinary trauma, severe abuse, abandonment. And I carried a lot of stories about myself. Not being good enough, not being right, being a victim of this, a victim of that. And suddenly in that moment, oh my God, I am inseparable from this divine presence. And so as we love God, sing to God, take the name of God, we recognize and realize that's also me. Not this body, not this karmic journey or story or psyche or personality, but the highest truth of who I am is one with the divine. And so that love brings us into a unity, or a reunion rather, because we never were separate. And so we belong to ourselves in that love. And it's not a love or a belonging that we have to do something to earn. So many of us are raised in our families of origin and then in our educational systems and then in our culture to feel like we have to perform to be good enough. As kids, our rooms have to be clean, our toys have to be put away, we have to do our homework, then we are good girls or good boys. If not, we're bad girls or bad boys. But as we grow, it's the same, it just gets a little bit more subtle. How we perform, how we do what we're supposed to do, how we show up as culture, as society has said we should, determines in so many ways our feeling of worthiness. And God says no. Come as you are. It's a come as you are party. Nothing you need to do, nothing you need to become, nothing you need to be, nothing you need to have, nothing you need to give. Just love. That's it. Love is, that's all it is love. And open your hearts to that love. There's a beautiful teaching in the Bhagavad Gita where Bhagwan Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktiyupratam ashnami prayatatmanaham. And it means patram, a leaf, pushpam, a flower, phalam, a piece of fruit, toyam, some water. Whatever the devotee offers me with love, I accept with love. You'll notice that all four of those things are free. He didn't say whoever offers me gold or a mansion or a Mercedes or your jewels. 4 out of 4 things are free. What is the key? Devotion. Whatever is offered in devotion, yourself. If you look through, whether it's the Srimad Bhagavatam, whether it's the Ramayana, whether we're talking Bhagwan Krishna, whether we're talking Bhagwan Ram, both of them are impressed only by love. Only by love. The gopis who had nothing, Shabri, this poor, uneducated village woman. It's a wonderful story. We have this dichotomy between Shorpanaka, who's the sister of Ravan, the sister of this demon king, and she's got all these powers, and she turns herself into what my guru calls Miss Universe. Miss Universe, and she comes to Bhagwan Ram as Miss Universe. I am Miss Universe. You are Mr. Universe. We should come together. We should be together. Forget your wife. Take me. I am the most beautiful. You are the most handsome. He's not even interested. Ignores her completely. And then, Shabri, poor, no makeup, no frills, no jewels, not even a nice house, no nothing, but so much love and devotion. He actually shows up at her door. Now you think, what are these beautiful teachings? No frills. I mean, if you have them, no problem. Nobody says, thou shalt, throw your jewels in a gutter. You have them, fine. You don't have them, fine. It's totally irrelevant. The question is, what do you have in your heart? And this is the key today. And I want to shift for a moment into kind of where we are in the world. Because there is so much. So much hatred, there is so much division, there is so much violence, there are so many excuses for us to be filled with rage and outrage, so many excuses for us to be divided. But the point of life is not to have a good excuse. The point of life is to choose love.